I loved realizing yesterday that your video thumbnails all have Dwarf wearing that hat in them to represent you. It's called branding, and it's a very foreign concept to some people. But it fits my brand. Whether or not it actually works properly, that is my brand. Usually with these exploding plants, I like to just shoot them before like running towards them, because if you don't do that, then you'll run towards them and then somebody else will shoot them and then you'll just die. So for this mission, what we need to do is we need to salvage 2 mules and get them to the drop pod. When you first drop into the cave, what you can do is you can just open up your terrain scanner and you will see the big green drop pod in the other direction. So it's looking to be around about that way. So what we can do is we can shoot out a flare gun. We are playing scout for this one just because it makes this mission a little bit easier for me and I can get through it a little bit quicker. We want to try and find this compacted dirt that we can use to try and get to the next section of the cave, essentially. So I have picked the scout for this mission just because it makes my life a little bit easier. As this is a mission overview, we're not going to be doing too much of the class features. But the reason that the scout makes it a little bit easier to do these missions is that the scout is essentially a little bit faster than the other dwarves. He's got these flares which burn a lot brighter. He's got his 4th, instead of being any sort of combat weapon, it is a flare gun which lights up the entire room. He has his grappling hook which can just like get him from place to place very quickly. He makes it a lot easier to find all of the stuff that you need on these missions. Also, on this is a random occurrence that can happen sometimes in the game, which is essentially a resupply pod that was left in the mission from another crew, and you can mine it out, and then you can repair it, and then once this is repaired, this essentially just gives you, I think it gives you 2 charges of resupply completely free. So now that it's repaired, it should... Okay, so it only gives us the 1 charge. That's fine. So maybe it randomizes it between 1 and 4 charges. That sounds like something that it would do. Audio clues in this game are very prevalent, so you can hear the little bip. That tells you that something is nearby that you need to go and repair. There'll be some sort of mule somewhere in this direction. So this is the dropship. This is the dropship that was left behind from the previous crew. Did the previous crew die and that's why the M.U.L.Es are still there? Basically, yes. When you drop into the level, they'll be like, the crew lost their mini mules, their dropship, their lives. So there's the mini mule that we need to bring back to life. So it's basically currently sending out a distress signal. And what you can do is you can come up to this one. You'll see that he's missing a couple of legs. You can go up and hold E to scan for missing legs. And now once that's done, the legs will actually output like a very faint glow and will like beep beep and like show like a little like same sort of thing as this, like an expanding scan essentially. But then you can also just hold down your terrain scanner and you will see all of the legs. And scanning one of them generally shows a bunch more legs than is actually needed. And you only need to grab, usually, from my understanding, it's usually you need to grab 3 legs for each.
Hello.
Hello, oppressor. Why now? I need some help, Bosco. Okay, and a Praetorian. Man, we're just going nuts, aren't we? Cool. Now that that's done, and I can actually focus on the mission that I'm doing, please get up. Please, I beg. Okay, cool. Very large and very angry bugs, yes. Oppressors are the next step up from Praetorians. They can be a bit of a pain to deal with because so much of their armor is impenetrable. But can you just go up? Can I get just Bosco to carry this? Yes, I can. Perfect. You carry that because I'm done. I tried to throw it like twice. It didn't work twice. It's just done. And we just had a Glyphid Warden spawn as well. What is with this mission, man? Cool. That's repaired. You bastard. You moved slightly just as I went to shoot. Alright, now we got a baby mule that follows us around. It does literally nothing. It serves no purpose other than it follows us around and it makes cute noises. It's like a baby in the first, like, 6 months of its life cycle. It does nothing except follow you around and makes cute noises. and like grow, I guess. So now we just need to figure out where the other mule is. Usually they're pretty easy to spot because of the big green glowiness. You can hear it. Sounds like it's off in that direction somewhere. So I'm going to grab this mule leg here. I'm gonna get Bosco to carry it. And it sounds, yeah, we can see the little green expanse over here, I think. Yeah, there he is. Alright, cool. And there's 2 legs over here as well, so nice and easy. Many beeps. And then we repair this one. M.U.L.E is functional. Let's go. Alright, cool. So that's the 2 mules that we needed to salvage. And now we also want to go through and collect our Ebo nuts. Just because usually with these levels, they're kind of the same as the Quarks levels. I find that they tend to be like one large cavern with some smaller runoff tunnels. But for the most part, most of what you need will be in the same cavern as where the legs and the mules spawned. So it's always worthwhile to go through and light things up to have a check. The Scout's flare gun is ridiculously overpowered. Like, just being able to see everything, and with the high intensity flares that you get, it makes spotting things in the level so much easier. Like, ridiculously easy compared to other classes. So I would heavily recommend that if you are playing solo, that you play Scout, because Scout can make the whole solo experience a lot easier than most other classes. If you play the Scout and you are just constantly using your flares, you will be literally the most loved class, or the most loved player out of any group. Because, oh my lord, they just make life so much easier. Like, look at how much I can see in this cavern with these lights on. I shot 2 flares and I can see like 90% of the cavern. Those guys, I'm not sure if we've seen those yet. Those spitball injectors or spitball infectors or whatever they're called, they lay dormant until you get close enough to them or if you shoot them, and then they will deal a little bit of damage. The damage that they deal is not crazy, but it can be quite substantial if you just let them sit there and just ping you to death. I think this means that we just need one more. One more Ebo nut. Well, there's the last Ebo nut. Cool, that's our secondary objective done. So now we can hit the button on the back of Molly, and then she will head off towards the drop pod, and we can just essentially, we can either follow them or we can just get there ourselves. So we'll just put a marker here so that we'll remember where it is. That is also a nice little trick that I found. If you hold down control, you will see like outlines of everything, but some things don't get outlined, much like this machine event. So if you are trying to find this event and you stumble across it and you need to figure out what exactly, like where exactly it was, you can hold down control and then hit E, and it will set you a waypoint that only you can see. So you can use it to mark things like this machine event over here. So all of the mules will come here and they'll slowly get secured and they'll get like sucked up into the ship. And then once this is done, what we need to do is we've got this uplink over here that we will need to repair. Once this uplink is repaired, it will start sending out a signal. And this is essentially like King of the Hill. So we have to stay in the circle that is being generated and continuously just stay in this area in order for the uplink progress to continue. If you step out of this, the mission control man gets very angry at you.
They're jeopardizing the mission. Get back to the triangulation.
So you need to stay in this area. So yeah, we're just chilling out and waiting for this uplink progress to finish. So, much like where we got the remote hacking pod, we are now going to receive a refuel pod, and we need to connect it to the drop pod, which looks like it's dropping down right next to us, which is really nice. Sometimes, yet again, they can drop in real pain in the ass positions that just make it, like, very difficult to connect for whatever goddamn reason. Mainly because Mission Control likes to play prank on us. Haha funny. Haha funny gamer prank. And once that's connected, we would go through and we would repair this and then refuel it. But in doing that, we would go through and trigger the final part of the event, So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do this machine event over here just to see how we go with it. So again, I haven't done any of these machine events by myself. I've done 1 or 2 with friends before, but we'll see what this does. This is something that you only unlock after you've promoted a dwarf. Any dwarf can be promoted and then you have access to this sort of event. So let's take a look.
Let's get this party started.
Right. I don't particularly understand what it is that we're doing, but cool, I guess. Usually these things start spitting out and shooting at you and trying to kill you, but I guess this one's like, I guess this is us activating it fully?
Kursite beacon activated. Aliens infected with Kursite are going to be drawn to your location. Kill them, grab the samples, and stuff them in the machine for further analysis.
Oh. Right, okay, so we just need to kill 6 of these and deposit them in here. Okay, interesting. This is a much more chilled out machine event than the last couple that I've done. So I guess this one's not that hard, which is cool. I've got to kill 3 more of these things in the next 2 minutes. Which, considering that they take like 3 shots to kill, pretty easy.
Transport support now.
Yeah, go grab that. I will kill this last one and grab this one. Cool. I mean, that was probably one of the easiest things that I've ever done, ever. That was... Oh no, that broke! Wait, what? Oh, they only last for a certain amount of time. Okay, that makes it a little bit more difficult, I guess. I kind of want to wait for one to spawn in not a shitty position in that case. And I want to hit one! Please stop hitting me! Nah, this is... Okay. So maybe I'm not going to get this done because I need one to spawn above... There we go. That one is the prey. Cool. There we go. Okay, cool. Right. Interesting. So what you would essentially do at this stage is that you would go through and you'd put a blank matrix core in this in order to infuse it with a different overclock, which is a whole another thing. But I don't think I actually have any blank matrix cores, so I don't have anything to put in this. So essentially, that entire thing was pointless. So at least now I know that that one's super easy and that we can just do that next time we need it. We're going to go through and we're going to repair this fuel line and get it started so that it can start refueling. And then it's essentially the exact same situation where we will need to stand in this section. I don't understand why we need to stand in this area in order for this fuel tank to continue doing what it's doing. But yes, we need to stand right here and stay in this green circle and ensure that the fuel tank does continue to output fuel. I'm going to drop a resupply pod here just so that if we do run out of ammo, we've got a way to get ammo back, which is good to have. Always good to have more ammo. Especially at the later difficulties, you will find yourself running out of a lot of ammo for a lot of events, and you will almost more often find yourself calling resupply pods for ammo rather than anything else. Cool, and this will have completely resupplied the drop pod. And now that this has resupplied, it will power up in the next minute and a half. So we just kind of need to stay alive for the next minute 30. And then once that's all done, we are good to go. And we have a warden around somewhere. Okay, there he is. Always important that if you see the purple lines like that, what was just happening there, you always try and kill the big purple bug first, because that is a Glyphid Warden, and he essentially makes it so that all of the other Glyphids around him have increased defense. And if he spawns with like a Praetorian and an Oppressor, you're going to be up shit's creek without a paddle. If you can kill him as immediately, then do so. But maybe don't get destroyed by an Oppressor while waiting to try and kill him. So we're just waiting for the doors to open so that we can get into this drop pod, and then we will head off and finish this mission. Freezing enemies makes them very, very easy to kill. If you're ever struggling against an Oppressor and you're playing Scout, throw a couple of cryo grenades at him and pull out your secondary and just blast. Awesome, Awesome, awesome. So there we go. We leveled up a couple of times off of that, which is great. And having the scout around for that mission was very much, it was a lot easier than if we were to use the engineer. So I definitely think that that was the right plan.